fuck it. So I grab a backpack, I shove a suit in it, and I just took off. And I wrote the directions on a Sharpie on my arm, right? It's like, you know, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going, my phone's ringing, you know, where are you? You know, everyone's freaking out and I'm just gone. And you know, and there's a lot of sitting under trees during that trip, but you know, I stopped to get gas, and people knew I was going there, right? And I think that, you know, from Atlanta to Nashville, there's maybe 2 or 3 ways to go, maybe. And I'd stop to get gas, and a couple of people asked for a selfie, and then I'd go to the next one. A couple more people would be there, and the crowd got bigger as I was going.
They know where you're going.
Yeah, they found out where I was going, and they were tweeting, you know, and I guess tweeting, and at one point I ride by a McDonald's. And I'm driving down the road, and I look up at the marquee, and it says, "We love you, Norman. Have fun in Nashville." And I'm like,
no fucking way.
I'm like, I felt like Forrest Gump. You know what I mean? Like running across country. But you know, stuff like that's fun. You know, my girl had never been to Graceland, and she's like, "God, I always wanted to go." I'm like, "Put on your shoes," and we just went straight there. It was like the greatest trip. You know, the spur of the moment ones were. I had so many people go, "You need to." You know, I don't even, the people that look up places and what about here, and we talk about where we should go, we have such an overflow of the people that we meet every episode and every year that we no longer have to Google. You know what I mean? So it's been pretty
man, I wanted to go to Japan when you went there so bad.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah.
I've been there a few times, but I was like, I want to go ride motorcycles over there.
You know, it's wild riding bike. You know, we started in Tokyo, we did an episode there, then we went to Mount Fuji, we rode all over there. But you know, I'm like riding up in the mountains with like monks and shit, and they're on Harleys, and you know, this, you know, an older lady I met at one point, and she had this big fucking bike, and she rode there in snow, like it was crazy. And but it's just, you know, it's bike people are kind of the same everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking about like that Melrose biker who rides on the weekends, you know, like who has all the gear or whatever. But the people that like really ride are very similar and get on really well, and all, you know, Uruguay and Costa Rica and all the places that we've been.
There's countless stories, especially, I mean, when you're on, I mean, there's countless stories of people that are on old Harley Davidsons and they're riding across the country and they break down. There's always somebody. And Audra's a fucking badass. I'm like, goddamn right she is. Yeah. You know, like everybody's like, oh, I got to ride with this girl. You know, every time, and it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. She's like, and she rides a fucking. People are like, I rode her bike downtown the other day. It's a 21 electric glide, you know, full bagger bike. I ride it downtown. It's like, oh man, that's a badass bike. I'm like, that's my girlfriend's.
Of course.
That's a fucking girlfriend's bike.
Terrifying.
It's so fucking cool.
Little rubber duck. He's like, don't touch the duck.
You gotta touch the duck, the shifter.
I didn't touch a duck.
He wanted to keep you in second the whole time, no matter what?
No, he wanted me to shift with my 2 little fingers.
Who said that?
Jeff. He's like, you can't hold the duck will break off.
It will not. I've been shifting with that duck for years.
He told me not to touch it. I shifted. I shifted with my dude and trying to thread those gears.
God. No,
with
the
my
duck
2 little.
Fits in your hand just perfect.
He wouldn't let me hold the duck. I did it under the duck.
No way.
I rolled that bike
through
100 extras on wet grass with potholes with prescription glasses that wasn't my prescription. And I thought for sure I was going to run somebody over. But yeah, I did not even touch the duck.
Tank shift, Harley Davidson with a brass duck as the shifter. You're supposed to hold on to the duck.
Jeff wouldn't let me touch the duck.
That's fucking,
yeah.
That is too fucking
now
funny.
I'm kind of mad at him that the duck wouldn't have fallen off.
Too fucking funny. Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe that.
And I'm like this, and you know, I'm like.
That thing's been on there for fucking, I don't know how, that bike's like 10 years old now. I mean, Jeff built most of that bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that had to brass weld up the bottom of that duck so we could thread it to put it on there.
Yeah.
So maybe he was like...
He told me not to touch it.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, what do you mean not to touch it?
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. The 2 tips of my fingers and that little slat under the duck is how I did it.